Hello, everybody. We're having this training today with Lee, how to start with this wonderful company, Travorium. Lee?
Take it away. Well, if you're not on this training call live, I appreciate you taking the time to look at it on a recording. So I'm going to take you back and sort of give you my story of how I got started. I actually was a traditional business owner. I owned an auto body repair company for over 25 years. I was first introduced to the network marketing industry or the direct sales, whatever you want to call it, um, through somebody that just walked in my door one day. He was just out making cold calls, going from business to business to business, talking to them about the opportunity to create a second stream of income. And, some of the things that he said to me really resonated to me. And that was the fact that if I kept doing what I was doing, I was going to keep getting what I was getting. And although I had a pretty good lifestyle, I knew that at some point in time I was going to get old. And I knew that when I got older, that there might be a possibility that the income would stop coming in. And so that sort of piqued my interest of creating income that would keep going on and on and on. So, a lot of people sometimes I'll use sporting for a few minutes. So a lot of people are really excited about their baseball team. Maybe they follow one of the great golfers of the world. Maybe they're NFL fans or they're NBA fans. Okay. And we get so excited about how incredible these guys are. Okay. Or, the ladies, tennis, skiing, golf, the female golf phenomenon has just taken off, and the ladies are making just as much money as the guys are in some of their tournaments. But I always wanted to think back that there was a point in time that that person had never picked up a golf club before, and now they're making millions of dollars. They had never picked up a baseball mitt before. They had never thrown a football. They had never held a tennis racket. Okay. Let's shift gears. Let's go into acting. Okay. There was a point in time when, let's use who's some of my favorite actors, Tom Hanks. There was a point in time when Tom Hanks didn't have an acting job, or Brad Pitt, or Brie Larson, some of the big names that are out there right now. I'm a big fan of Kelly Clarkson. I watch her show almost every day. I don't watch it live. I record it and then I watch it while I'm doing something else. But there was a point in time before American Idol when nobody knew what her name was. Okay. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that those people started not knowing anything about their industry. And now they are phenomenal megastars. But sometimes we forget all the struggles that they went through and how many other people in those industries quit because it was too hard. It didn't come fast enough. Okay. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because this business is not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy, because you're going to have more people say no to you than you have say yes to you. And what I want you to realize is this: they're not saying no to you, they're saying no to themselves because they're not willing to take a chance on themselves. I always say this jokingly, but I'm dead serious, is that it's impossible to lose money in Travorium. It just is. And the reason I said it's impossible to lose money is because you're paying that 135 and you're getting two great vacations. Did you guys hear where Todd and Gina are in Dubai right now for almost a week? For I think it was $79. Can you imagine that? $79 for a week in Dubai at one of the premier resorts that Hyatt owns. Okay. Now, I don't know if you were on the call or not, but just the breakfast at the Hyatt is $75 per person. And with our world tour package, you get breakfast for two every day. So they went to the resort. They're getting breakfast for like I think 5 days at $150 a piece. What's that? That is turns out to be about $750 in breakfast food. Okay, for $79. And Todd jokingly said at the end that he was really upset that they had to pay that much money to go to that resort because there's another one coming up in a couple of weeks that's only $7 to go to the same exact resort, get the same exact things. Okay. So that's why I say, ladies, it's impossible to lose money in our business. It just is. But what's great about our company, I believe, is we have so many options that work. Okay. Me personally, I'm part of the NFL. Okay. It used to be National Football League. For me, it's no friends left. I have nobody to talk to about this business any longer. Okay. I went through those people a long time ago. So for me, I use a lead generating company. Okay. That's what works for me.
Oh, do you notice it, Mike?
I stumbled into a lead program from a fellow named Brian Crothers, and he's been using a lead company for over 15 years. He's worth over $10 million in our industry. And he sells a product that's not exciting. Not everybody wants it. Okay. So the thing that I always go back to whenever somebody calls me and says, "Hey, I'm sort of struggling a little bit." Okay. And that's the worst thing that you can do is not make that phone call. Okay. But if you want to be successful in anything, doesn't it make sense to follow somebody that's already successful? Sort of makes sense to me. You know, I'm going to go to baseball for just a second. There's one of the highest paid players in baseball right now was just brought into the Dodger organization, which happens to be my team. Okay. And he was brought over to the Dodgers for over $100 million. You'd think for $100 million, they wouldn't have to teach him anything, right? But guess what? Guy makes $100 million a year. Most of the guys that are batting over 300%, which means they get on base 30% of the time and they fail 70% of the time. Wouldn't that be exciting that every 10 people you talk to, 3 of them said yes and 7 said no? Man, I'd be fired up if that was the case. Okay. That's batting 300. Okay. 3 out of 10, 3 out of 10 in the Major League Baseball, $1 million a year minimum. But think about this. All of those people that are making that kind of money, going back to the sports analogy, they all have throwing coaches. They all have hitting coaches. The pitchers have pitching coaches. Why would a pitcher need a pitching coach? These guys are like 30 years old. They've been playing ball since they were 8 years old. Why do they need a coach to teach them how to pitch? It's not to teach them how to pitch. It's how to keep them fine-tuned, how to have success. That's what your coach in our company is for. Whoever you choose, they're there to design, they're there to help you succeed. Okay. So when I get somebody started, the first thing I take them to is a website called Getting Started. I'm sorry, it's not Getting Started. It's learnthistraining.com. Now, that is a website that was created by Daryl and Marie Roberts. Okay. Now, even though none of us are on their team, Daryl and Maria created this website and share it with the entire company. Okay. It's no different than all of you are underneath a fellow named Todd Strand. Okay. Todd is the top income earner in the entire company, and you're on his team. And Todd brought me into the business, so you're on my team. And then somebody on my team named Tatiana started bringing on a bunch of other people. So you're on a lot of different teams, but ultimately you're on Todd's team. Okay. So I've always thought to myself, why not follow the guy that makes the most money? And isn't it interesting that Todd, the top income earner in the company, he will take a phone call from any of you. I'm telling you. That's the one thing that I find from people that are on my team that are so surprised that if they call Todd, he calls them back if he doesn't answer. Okay. He's amazing. He doesn't care what level you're at, he will help you. I've got a guy on my team that just got started a few weeks ago, and I gave him Todd's number, and he needed a help with a question. He couldn't get a hold of me, so he called Todd. Well, Todd's in Dubai right now. It's like 10 o'clock at night. Todd answers the phone and says, "Hello." And my guy introduces himself and that he's on my team, and they had a phone call for a half hour. Todd's never met him. He's never met Todd. That's the leadership that you have. Okay. So when people first get started, I send them to learnthistraining.com. And at the very top, there's a little red tab up there. Where's my notes that I wrote? Okay. Yeah. Little red top, little red box at the very top, and it says getting started checklist. Okay. So I'm going to go through with you what's on that checklist. Okay. So if you haven't done this, you need to do it. Okay. It's the first thing you need to do. Get started. Okay. But get started in the right way. Know what it is you're trying to accomplish. Okay. So the getting started checklist is you put the date that you enrolled, your ID number, who is your sponsor, who is your team ambassador. Now you have several of them to choose from, okay? Getting started Zoom, okay, because there's a Zoom that's on this website that is a getting started presentation. You can watch it live or you can watch whatever the latest recording is. This. Do not judge yourself by what other people are doing. Everybody gets started at their own pace, okay? But we have so many people that have been in our business for years that did nothing but use the product, the savings on travel, before they actually ever started talking to anybody about our business model, okay? Danny Seguinal, if you've seen him, he's a crazy guy. But you know what? He was in the business for over 2 years before he signed his first person up. 6 months later, he quit his job and he's never worked for anybody since. Okay. Igor and Larissa, they sort of have a great story about the same thing. Their story or their success came very rapidly. But there's people, you know, that it takes a while sometimes. Okay. So in this getting started checklist, it has attend the next getting started training Zoom. Okay, so I just told you they're there. There's one coming up, I think, on the 5th. But they're all there on that website. If you go to the website and then click on sites and events, everything's in there. One of the things that people are always asking me is, well, what time are all these Zoom calls? You know, and Marina, you talked about that earlier. How do we, you know, collaborate all of these trainings that we got? Okay. Well, this is just me. Okay. So you can use the information, don't use the information. It's very common for people to spend so much time getting on training calls. Well, here's my question for you. How much do you make when you get on a training call? Nothing. How much do you get for moving things around on your desk? Nothing. How much do you get paid for updating your computer information? Nothing. Okay. The only way to get paid for in this business is to talk to people. I have a gal on my team. I'm not going to say her name. She's been with me almost from the beginning. She's still waiting to sign up her first person. But she's so excited because she gets on all the training calls. I'm on this call. I'm on that call. Those calls do nothing for you if you don't take the training and put it into action. Okay. So let's move on here. So there's actually back office training. How many of you have had somebody say, hey, how do I learn how to use the back office? Anybody had that one besides me? I get that call all the time.
I got that question. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, here's the
training on that. That would be great.
Here you go. It says watch back office tours at learnthistraining.com/back office. Okay. The worst thing you want to do is become the trainer for one person. Okay. You want to train everybody the same way every time, every day, every week, every year. Do the same thing over and 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 over, and you will have success. Guess what your team will do when they get started? They'll do the same thing because you're teaching them what to do and you're letting them know that you're doing the same thing. Okay. There's a there's a couple of videos that Daryl and Marie have on their site. I look at them at least once a week. Monday morning, sort of my day that I look at videos. I very rarely watch the Saturday training on Saturday because I'm usually doing three-way calls and that kind of stuff. But Monday morning when I get up, bam, that's the first thing that goes on. Okay. I very rarely watch it live, but I watch it on Facebook Live every single Monday morning. That gets me going. Okay. So you talked about schedules. Okay. That's something, that's the most important thing of being in your business is that Saturday training because you're being trained by the people that are having success. They're sharing how they got there. Okay. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to do TikTok. Okay. I don't even know. I've never even seen a TikTok. Okay.
I
It's not
will.
what I'm going to do. Okay. I'm sort of old school. I'm sort of the guy that walks up to somebody at the grocery store and has a conversation about something and then says, hey, you know what? I don't know if you might be interested or not, but I have a travel company. I'm expanding an area and I show people how to create secondary income for themselves, sharing information about an incredible travel company that is disrupting the travel industry right now. I mean, that's just what I do. Okay. So, but not everybody wants to do that. Okay. And I don't do anything as far as recruiting or training if I haven't already done it myself and I've had success at it. I'm certainly not going to tell you, ladies, go do this. And I haven't even tried it yet. Oh, that would be stupid. All right, let's see what we did. Oh, here's a really great one also is if you go into your back office on your website, okay, look on the left-hand side and there's a tab there that says CEO Corner, okay? And Dave Hart continually puts videos back there, okay? That's usually some of the newer things that he's doing. There's some videos that are posted, okay, or I'm sorry, some pictures that are posted, but that's there all the time. Always go and check because it gets changed all the time and added to, okay? Then there's another one. Learn the truth about our industry. Well, they made it really difficult, okay? LearnThisTraining.com/truth, okay? They make it so difficult for you to figure out what these things are because they, for some unknown reason, they just keep using the term learnthistraining.com/something. Okay. It's there. It's Todd Strand, 5-star ambassador. Who would want to be a 5-star ambassador besides me? Okay. But remember, there was a day that Todd got started that it was just Todd. He didn't have a team. He didn't have me. He didn't have you. He didn't have Tatiana or Larissa or Igar or any of the other people that are having success. They weren't even in the business yet. Okay. Let's see here. Have you met your sponsors team ambassador? Has anybody had a conversation with Todd? No, nobody. Oh, okay.
I had
Marina have, you have? Okay.
Yeah, I have.
Isn't he an incredible guy?
I had a conference. Yeah.
But have you had one? So you've all had one-on-one conversations with him?
one-on-one.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then it says stay in communication a minimum of 2 days per week with your sponsor. Okay. That's a big one. Okay. I can tell what's going on in somebody's business on my team just by how many times a week they call me. Okay. It's just the way it is. I know when they call, something's going on. Okay. They wouldn't call me just to say, hey, I wanted to let you know I'm not doing anything. I just wanted to let you know. Okay. So does anybody have any questions so far?
what's the ideal way to start? Or we're not on that subject, to invite a new person, to do three-way or send a presentation?
You know,
Depends.
there's no perfect answer to that because I've had both things that have worked for me. I'll give you an example. Today on the Saturday training call, which you should have been on, but just know that you can go to facebook.com, go to Travorium, okay, and open up the Travorium page. On the right-hand side, there's a tab that says videos. Go to that. Today's training is always there, okay? So one of the guys that just got started, and he's doing some incredible things right now. He got started just by looking at Todd's 12-minute video. That's how he got started. He wasn't on a conference call. He didn't talk to anybody. He saw that video, and here's what he saw. $500. I can show people how to get $500 by building a team of 8 people on one side and 8 people on the other. In his old company, I think I started off in the beginning, to make $500, he had to have 30 people on one side and 30 people on the other side to make $500, okay? So that's pretty much the video that I use, is Todd's video, okay? I'm not taking anything away from Daryl and Maria, but most people won't watch a 25-minute video for the first video, but they'll watch 12 minutes. They'll give you 12 minutes. So the answer is, I have conversations with people sometimes, but remember, I use leads. So if I can't get a hold of them after the second phone call, I'm sending them a text message, okay? But I still don't send a video. I ask them, hold on a second. I'll just sort of tell you what I do. Okay, let's just grab this one here. Okay. Okay, the leads that I use, they actually provide me the person's information. And there's actually somebody at the office that has interviewed them first. So they know that they're looking for a home-based business. They know they have a couple of $100 to get started. So my text message to them is, hi, this is Lee Deem. I understand you spoke with Sonny in my office. This is one I just sent today. With Sonny in my office about our work from home business project. Sonny thought my business would be a perfect fit for you. A few of the benefits of my business are you can start in your spare time. You can create a very substantial second stream of income for yourself, huge tax savings. I do most of the work in the beginning so you can start making money now, okay? That's one of the things I tell people every single time. I'm going to do 90% of the work in the beginning, and you're going to make the money. Is that okay with you? And most people laugh. They go, yeah, absolutely, that's okay. So then the next thing it says is, if you're coachable and teachable and you can have great success with my company. If I send you an information video, will you watch it? Okay. If they don't answer yes, guess what? They don't get a video. I'm looking for people that say yes. Isn't that what we're all looking for? We're looking for people to say, yeah, I might be interested in that. Oh, hey, that sounds pretty interesting. Is there a video or something? Is there a website? You know, isn't that what they're asking you? Is there something I can go look at? Okay. So, but the key to that is every time you send somebody information, okay, never ever get off the phone without setting another appointment, okay? Isn't it interesting how things in business have changed? Like I've got a dentist appointment on Tuesday. I know when I'm done, there's going to be another appointment set for 6 months from then. So the best meeting you can have is when you have set up another meeting, okay? So let's go back to the question. Is it better to do a three-way call, or is it better to send them a video? Every person's going to be different. Sometimes people don't want to talk to somebody. They know you. They're not ready to talk to somebody else. How do you get around that? You don't ask them. Just call them up if you're brand new or you have a brand new person. Just say, hey, who are the top 5 people that you have right now in your phone that you would love to have as business partners with you? Well, I've got at least 5. Yeah. Well, what are their names? Give me their names right now. Man, I'm writing names down. Okay. Who we calling first? We're going to call Kathy. Okay, great. Let's three-way Kathy on. So they call Kathy, and Kathy introduces me, and I say, Carol, listen, the reason we're calling you is that Kathy has made a decision to start her own business, and I'm not on the phone to try and sell you anything. It's just Kathy wanted me on the phone because she's so new. She didn't want to mess up anything if you had a question or anything. But here's what we're doing. Okay. Guys, my pitch is less than 90 seconds long. If I talk more than 90 seconds, it's too much. Some of you are talking way, way too much. Okay. We want to tell this person how excited we are and blah, 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 blah. And oh my gosh, the travel deals are incredible. And sometimes we say too much. Wouldn't it make more sense to talk to more people and send out videos than talk to less people and you try and throw up all over them and tell them everything? You know what I did in the very beginning? I just got Todd on the phone. That's all I did. Okay. Who's heard the story about how Tatiana got started? She called Todd every day, 3 and 4 times a day. Okay. She's told me the story. Here's the story. She would call Todd and say, Todd, I have a friend named Joe on phone. You tell him about travel business. She didn't say anything after that. Todd did all the work. And so when I heard that story, I went, well, she's all gonna be an ambassador pretty quick. I'm gonna start doing the same thing she did, even though she was in my business. Okay, I'm not an ambassador. Okay, why not? Because I have this big team over here, and I got this puny team over here. Like Deborah Taylor says, this is the love leg over here. Okay, this is the leg that needs all the loving. Okay, you guys are in the big team. So every time you call, I go, yay, I get to help the big team put more people in. But you know what? I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I've always been that way. Okay. I am a person that likes to help other people succeed. You guys are more important to me of getting to where you need to be than I am getting to where I need to be. That's just the way I am. And I think if you realize it, isn't Todd like that? Isn't Daryl and
Yeah.
Maria like that? Absolutely. So see, I learned something from those guys. I've known Daryl and Maria for over 20 years. I've known Todd for over 20 years. I've known Dave Hart for 25 years. So, and when I say I know him, I mean I've had dinner with him, I've had breakfast with him, I've played golf with him. I know who he is as a person. You guys stumbled in to the best deal you're ever going to find. You just have. So, does anybody have any questions?
I have a question if no one else. Thank you, Lee. Very helpful. So in my situation, we would have a three-way call, then we will share a video.
Yep.
Then they're like, love it, excited, and then I still need 2 more weeks to think about it, right? Even they're like on the scale from 1 to 10, they're at 7, 8, 9.
Right.
But they're still not signing up. Do you let them be alone and let them go till they decide that it's time for them to join, or you keep reaching out and asking if they have any questions? And how long do you do that for? Because
Okay, good
they don't say
question.
no, they love it, but then how do you get them, make a final decision, and if there's anything we should or can do?
Right. Okay. So what you're doing is absolutely flawless. Okay. And the best thing you do is you ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being I'm not interested at all, and 10, hey, I'm ready to get started today. That is an incredible question to ask people. So what you're doing is, it sounds like they're saying, well, I'm probably about a 7. Okay. And let me think about it for a while, and you let them go. Is that what? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, there to
Okay.
be 7 or 9, and they're like still not ready to do it today. So
Okay,
something is
so-
holding them back.
Okay, gotcha. So here's the best thing you can do with that. Just keep doing that, but add 2 more things to it. Okay. If they say, well, I'm a 7, just say, oh my God, that's incredible. Most people that are 7s actually get started within a couple of weeks. So let me ask you this. what additional information do you need to go from a 7 to a 10? See, there's something holding them back, okay? Now, sometimes I give them the reasons because sometimes, and I'm sure you've had this, Marina, they don't tell you, well, I need to think about it. Okay. Well, hey, I'm on the phone right now. You know what happens most of the time when people say they need to think about it? They're not sure that they can be successful. Okay. So let me leave this with you. You guys might want to jot this down. Okay. I always tell people this, and it's the truth. So think about this. Let's say that you and I are having this conversation, Marina. You're my prospect. Okay. So Marina, think about this. Okay. There's three parts to the equation for you to get started. Okay. Number one is, does the travel industry work? Well, that's probably pretty, obvious. Okay. There's more cruise ships being built right now than ever before. The Hilton Hotel is in the process of adding 200 hotels worldwide. Okay. So the travel industry is growing. With you or without you, it's going to go on. Okay. Let's talk about our company, Travorium. Okay. I think last year we increased by 37%, 37 point something percent. Okay. Last month that went up by like 7 some odd percent. Okay. So our company is growing. Okay. You can't deny that. People are going on vacations. People are making money with our company, whether it's a few $100s, whether it's a few $1,000s a month, or we have quite a few people that are having incredible success with our company and are generating five and six figure incomes. Okay. It's there. So our company works. What's the third thing in that equation? Marina, it's you. You're the missing ingredient to your success. You know the travel business works, that's successful. You know our company works, that's successful. You're the missing ingredient. And some people will take their time, and you say you have to think about it. So, and I know it's hard, okay, but what is it you're thinking about? Okay, let me give you a couple of answers. Okay. Sometimes people don't have the money to get started, and they're embarrassed to say that, to tell me. That's okay. Trust me, it happens all the time. Did you know that most people, after working 20 years at their job, don't even have an extra $4,000 in their bank account? You know, if you saw the video and they talked about tax savings, guys, this is key. Okay. They talked about tax savings, didn't give you details, but did you know that the average person that starts a home business with the intent to create profit generates about $300 to $500 a month in additional tax refunds? $300 to $500 a month. Okay. So when I show people that, a lot of people are going, holy cow, it costs less to have this business than the tax benefits are going to be that I get back. Exactly. Guys, that's one of the reasons I say it's impossible to lose money in our company. It just is. Okay. Unless you're that secret agent that nobody knows about. Okay. So the key is to find out what is causing them hesitation. Sometimes it's a negative spouse. Okay.
Mhm.
How do you get rid of a negative spouse? Make money. That's how you get rid of a negative spouse. I can't tell you how many times I've heard the stories of a couple getting started. One of them is all excited about it, and the other one thinks it's the worst thing they could ever do. Oh my God, we're going to lose so much money over this. And then 6 months later, it's usually the wife that comes on board and the husband's negative. Okay. It's very rarely the other way around. Okay. So the wife starts making a couple $100s a month, and guess what? 5 months later, they go on their first vacation. They haven't been on a vacation in 2 years, and they're at a world tour, staying in a 4 or 5 star resort. Well, guess what happens after that? Now all of a sudden, it's his idea. Okay, he's the one that came up with this great idea. They should start a travel. I hear it all the time. Okay, so the key is to find out what the hesitation is. Okay. If you don't know that, then you're going to call them back in a few days and you're going to have the same situation. Sometimes they need more information. Okay. For me, when that happens to me, if they don't give me the details, then I just sort of ask them this question. Well, it sounds to me like you probably need more information. You know, there's a couple of things that I could send you. I know you saw that 12-minute video, but you know, there's a couple out of Las Vegas, Daryl and Marie Roberts, that are some of the top leaders in the company. They have a 25-minute video that goes over the same thing, but with more detail, more examples of the travel, more examples of the discounts. How about if I send you that video? If I sent you that video, will you watch it? If I will you. I know you hear that all the time, but some of you aren't using it, okay? The two main things you want to always have in your back pocket to use is if I will you, and I know how you feel. I felt the same way. Here's what I found. Somebody tells me, oh, I've seen these kind of things before. I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way when I saw this, but you know what I found? This one's different. I'll give you an example of that. Okay, I'm talking to the person. I'll bet you $10,000 that you don't work at the same place that you got your first job at. You probably have gone through several jobs. Why? Because you're always looking for something better. This place, they didn't do this. This place, they didn't do that. This place didn't have training. This place had a really bad boss. This place, you kept looking until you found a fit, right? Happens all the time. Well, what I found was this is the one that I was waiting for. Okay. Think about this. I get to make money and I get to go on vacations and I get to associate with incredible, incredible people. Win, win, win. So that's what I do. Feel, felt, found. If I, would you? And the key is that if they're sort of stalling and they say, well, I have to think about it. Okay. I sometimes I'm just blunt and I say, well, what is it that you need to think about? Okay. I'm on the phone right now. I can give you any answer you need. What is it you need to think about? Sometimes, ladies, it's just getting somebody else on the phone, three-waying with somebody else besides the person you started with. Okay. I'm very known for calling some of my team. Okay. I've got a guy named Paul out of Las Vegas, and I'll call Paul and say, "Hey, Paul, it's Lee. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Great. Hey, listen, I've got Kathy on the phone with me right now. Kathy's looked at a couple of videos. I've had her on the phone with Todd. Can you just sort of tell Kathy how you got started and what success you and Myra have had?" And Paul's on my team underneath me, but Paul will just give this incredible, example. Sometimes that's all it takes is having one more person. Todd tells a story that happened last year. He was at the corporate offices. Somebody called him and that he had reached out to, and they were calling him back, and he's at the corporate headquarters. And Todd talks to him for like 2 minutes. He goes, hold on, I want to have you meet somebody. He passes the phone to Mike Oliver. Mike Oliver's talking to the guy. Mike passes the phone to Josh. Josh passes the phone to Dave. By the time he gets back to Todd, and Todd's only talked to the guy for like 2 minutes at this point in time. By the time the phone gets back to Todd, the guy says, hey, I'm ready. I want to sign up. Just because he heard so many things from so many people from a different perspective. Does that make sense? Because
Yes,
all of
thank
you have a different perspective, okay?
Mhm.
All of you have a different background, okay? I bet all of you got started for different reasons, okay? How many got started just to save money on travel? That was the only thing you were worried about, okay? How many of you got started because you wanted to make money? That was the number one reason, okay? For me, that was the reason, okay? It was
Oh.
the money. I could have cared less about travel. I was going to travel anyways, with Travorium, without Travorium, I was going to travel, okay? I looked at it as a way to generate unbelievable income that I could pass down to family. That's what I saw, okay? But everybody sees it differently. Yes, Marina.
Thank you. Well, let's assume we're doing role play, and my concern, what if I don't find my 3 people and I'm stuck paying 135? So I don't want them to worry about 3 people right away, but this is what they worry about right away.
Okay. Okay, great question. Let me ask you a couple of questions. How many contacts do you have in your phone?
Yeah, 300, 400, start there.
Really? Whoa, okay. Are you on Facebook?
Right. Facebook, that's a good source.
How many
Correct.
people do you have on Facebook?
I don't know, 400.
Remember, you're role playing with me here. So
Oh, that's right.
you've
Yes.
got 200 or 300 contacts on your phone. Are you on an iPhone or on an Android?
Right. I'm on Android, so I have a list.
Don't know exactly how they work, okay? But ladies, here's the question. If you have an iPhone like I do, you go to your contacts, you scroll to the very bottom, it tells you how many contacts you have. So if you have somebody on the phone that says, well, you know, what if I don't get my 3 people? Okay. Here's the worst thing that could happen, Marina. If you don't get your 3 people, okay, that's going to happen because of 2 things. Number one, you're not talking to people, and number 2, you're not getting me on the phone with them.
Okay, noted.
Okay, so that's the reason. Okay, if you don't get 3, it won't be Travorium's fault. It won't be my
Yeah.
fault. It will be your fault. Okay, but here's what I typically tell people in the beginning, Marina. Remember, we're still role playing here. Okay, is if you will put me in front of people, I will put people in your business for you. Okay. Now, I hope you don't mind this, okay? But because you are in my, I'm building 2 teams, okay? Team 1, team 2. Team 1, I don't have to do anything to anymore, Marina, okay? I just giving you an example of what can happen, okay? When I first got started, I sponsored one person. Her name is Shannon Zigman. She's based out of Phoenix, Arizona, okay? Shannon is a secret agent. She's never talked to anybody about this, but they use the travel benefits all the time. Okay. That team underneath her, because somebody above me had to put people somewhere. And if you only have 2 teams, team 1 and team 2, when you get to where you're putting in your 5th person, they have to go underneath somebody. When you get to your 100th person that you're putting in, they have to go underneath somebody. Well, that team, Marina, with just Shannon, who remember is a secret agent, has grown to over 5,000 people. Okay. You're going to go in the other team. So not only am I going to help you put people in, because that's the number one goal, is to help you get 3 and free as fast as we possibly can. But you're going to have people on your team that you don't even know, because I'm going to put people on your team that I personally bring in, and people on your team are going to be bringing people in, their 3 people that you don't know. And guess what could possibly happen? 3 or 4 people, 15, 20 down the road, all of a sudden, boom, somebody gets in and says, oh my God, this is unbelievable. I have 8,000 people on Facebook. I'm going to create a message and send it to every single person on Facebook using instant messenger so they can message me back. So I only have to deal with the people that say yes. It's not the only way, it's just another way. So finding 3 people typically isn't an issue. It's only an issue if you're not trying.
All right,
So,
thank you.
so should we get you started, or you need to think about it a little bit more?
Send me the link.
Okay, let's go. So you always want, if you're putting like your daughter is going to turn 18 and you want to help her and get her started, I would put her directly underneath you. But then that's what's so cool about being able to place people, okay, is you can place your daughter under a leg that's going to that you see is growing. And there's an opportunity that some of those people might put some more people in and they could follow in underneath your daughter. Or, okay, you can, once you get to on the compensation plan, I always tell people, make sure you have at least 10 people personally sponsored. Okay. Because that confirms that you're going to get all the override bonuses for level 1, for level level 2 director. You're going to get all the bonuses for that. Okay. So the other thing is that when you bring your daughter in and you place her at the bottom, okay, there's nothing that says that you can't work with your daughter and help her put some people in there. You can give her some of your people, okay, but you need to make sure that she's doing something too, okay? Can't build a business underneath for a family member without them being involved, okay? When I send somebody my link and they go onto the link, I go onto my link also. So I'm not going to sign somebody else up, okay? So they're on the sign up page, I'm on the sign up page. I talk to them about which package they want to click. It's 9 times out of 10, it's platinum. So I say, click on platinum. I click on platinum. We're both on the next page. Okay. So now I tell them, just start filling out your information. I see the same thing you're seeing, but I don't see your information. Okay. I just see blank spaces. So when you're done filling out all that information, you're probably going to have a question for me at the very bottom. Anybody know what the number one question typically is when they sign up? Nope. Okay. Number one question is typically, what's this website thing? I don't know what to put there. Okay. So I typically tell people the easiest way to do this is to put your name in, your first and last name. If you've got a really weird last name or a really weird first name, you're probably gold. But if your name is Kathy Smith, you might have to put Kathy Smith, then something else on the back. Kathy, middle initial Smith, okay? And honestly, ladies, the only time you ever use that website is never. Because going to that website is the same as going to travorium.com/ your ID number. All that website does is it takes them to the sign up page. That's all it does. Okay. So it's much easier just to give them your ID number as the link instead of having your name, and you've got, for some of you do have, long names. Okay. And sometimes people get confused with that. I mean, my name's 4 words and people screw my name up. So, and so what happens is I walk them through that and I explain that. The next page, then they hit continue. That's as far as we can go when we're helping them sign up. We can't go to the next page because we haven't put any information on the page we're looking at. So now they go to the next page, and the next page is pretty much the policies and procedures. I had a guy once ask me, well, I want to read all this stuff before I sign it. I said, well, I tell you what, knock yourself out. I'll call you back in 4 hours when you're done. You can go to the back office. I'll walk you through it, and you can print the policies and procedures out. You still will have 7 days to quit if you don't like what you see. Oh, okay, that's fine. So that's how I solved that. Then they just go through and put their credit card information, and boom, they're done. Then it says, what does it say on the very last page? Go to your back office, right? So I tell them, click on that. I'm going to give you a 5-minute tutorial on the back office. I don't spend an hour with them. Trust me. Why? Because I send them to the getting started checklist and it does it for me. Does that make more sense? Show them how to duplicate how they can build the business. If you don't have to be everything to them, can you imagine being everything to 100 people? Oh my gosh. Why not show them how simple it is? Because if you do everything for them, one of the first things they start thinking is, oh my God, I'm never going to remember this. But if you show them how they can get to places, all of a sudden it becomes very simple. So where do I take them to? When they get signed up, I show them where the world tours are. Why? People get excited about that. I show them where the getaways are. Okay. And then I show them how to get to their travel website and what happens when they go to their travel website. The big thing comes up that they have to put their information and the circle on the face and everything. So I show them how to tell them how to do that. You don't have to do it right now, but you can do it later on today if you want to. And that's pretty much my back office tutorial. I just want to show them how to get there and show them where the information's at. Okay. Now, one more thing I forgot to say that we talked about, man, I can't believe I remember this. We talked about scheduling trainings and stuff. Okay. If you go to learnthistraining.com and go to events and scroll to the bottom, the page is there for every single corporate presentation. All the nightly Zoom presentations are there. The Saturday presentation is there. Everything is there that they need to know. Okay. So focus on getting your people to those. Do not make them feel like they have to get on 20 Zoom calls a week. Okay. You will lose them. It's too much. The first thing that you should be doing is trying to help them find their 3 people. That's the first thing you should help them do. After that, do that again. Now they've got 6. After that, do that again. Now they're 1-star directors. After that, do it 2 more times and they'll be 2-star directors. Now they're excited because they're not making 500, they're making 1,500. Make sense? Okay, any more
Yes,
questions?
thank you. Thank you.
Otherwise,
Thank you.
we'll wrap it up.